Waldack. How are you, sir?
Pretty good. I did a little running around and I realized I need to get home soon. I still have to get lunch. I was doing
That's
my
okay.
I was doing my
I did a
dailies in
Costco
Pokemon
run
Go
in
and
nice.
Costco.
I did a Costco run in about 5 minutes. Is how quickly I did that thing. I was like, I gotta go.
Yeah, I had a I did my Pokemon Go dailies. Had to hit 2 grocery stores and then get lunch, all in
Oh
like an
wow,
hour and a half.
you are a beast, then, sir. A beast, I say. And of course, let's not forget Mr. Timothy. Tim, how are you, sir?
What's up, peeps? I just had to get through, the usual Microsoft updates at the wrong time moment on my PC. So, but glad to join.
Good.
Speaking
Well, we're
of,
happy that we're here, and of course, folks, we are 5 minutes. My timer is just over 5 minutes away from Ubisoft Forward, and they've done a pre-show for the last hour, which I've just caught the last 15 of it. A little bit of highlighting of games that are currently out, doing some patches and some information, some developer, behind the scenes stuff right now. I think right now this is Ghost Recon. Guys, obviously we talked a couple of days ago on the podcast. Any newer predictions or anything else you thought about maybe what we might see from Ubisoft? Tim, I'll go to you first.
Nothing new, just what I mentioned before was the Watch Dogs. I thought could be a possibility, and Far Cry was, I think, my last entry. I thought maybe there could be a Far Cry game, maybe not the newest one, but maybe a couple of Far Cry, maybe a collection. Because there's like the sixth one that's going to be coming out, so maybe they'll come out with a collection for the Switch.
Absolutely. Jesse, anything from you?
I have no idea what to expect from them. I
Okay.
I don't keep I don't keep track of all of their franchises, so I might, what is someone else's obvious release might be a complete surprise to me. We'll find out.
That's good. Okay. I threw this question out to the community earlier today. We got a couple of responses. Dan Caparella, of course, the Block Fort Gaming, says Starlink 2, but it's only Star Fox. And more variety of missions, please.
Right.
I think arguably the best part of Starlink was Star Fox, so that's great. John Blanco says an original Switch title and a statement about the recent firings. Interestingly enough, Ubisoft did send out a tweet a couple of hours ago, essentially saying that the video we're about to see today is pre-recorded. So don't expect a statement in relation to it. It's been pre-recorded and canned. Those firings, those changes that were made within the last couple of weeks. So my argument is there that you probably could have still edited the video, put a statement in there, done some kind of camera shot. But they did put out some statement, but I don't think we're going to hear much more about that. I think Ubisoft right now wants to change the direction and really focus on their games and kind of make sure that you forget about their challenges. Fake Tour says, don't know, but Watch Dogs 1 and 2 for the Switch. So Tim, they're definitely in your boat as well. And then Pat Dundee says, how about a Mario plus Rabbids sequel? Right, and I talked a little bit about that during our session a couple days ago, that if there was indeed going to be a Mario and Rabbids sequel, if there was that, I think now might be the time we may hear about it. It's been 3 years since that game was released, so it is possible for from a timing perspective as well. I know for myself, I would love to see another Mario and Rabbids, but I think, Tim, you mentioned the comment, or it might have been Zach, who said like a Nintendo and Rabbids, right? Like going beyond the Mario universe, maybe a Zelda, maybe a Metroid. Those would all be pretty awesome.
Rabbit
Marty, they've been Marty too. I mentioned that, but that would be cool to see it expand.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that would be something else, kind of like a
Rabbit Metroid.
Well, I was thinking more of how we've got the Disney and Square thing with the Kingdom Hearts, where Ubisoft could do something similar with their Rabbids universe with the Nintendo properties. So that would be interesting, definitely. But one other thing too, I thought of or saw in their list of things that didn't do so well in the other systems, but could probably do well here, is the Crew, which is their racing games. They did 1 and 2. Maybe if they did one for the Switch, maybe that's a possibility there.
Yeah, and they may, I know you're a huge racing fan, Tim, so that may be a great idea too as well, right? And might fit. Some of the other things that I'm thinking of is I would love, this is a fingers crossed, this is a willing into existence, but probably not there. I'd love to see the Division 2 hit the Switch. That would really, really interest me. And then Assassin's Creed, I suspect we're going to see something from Assassin's Creed come over to the Switch, whether it's 1 and 2 come over or whether it's Origins. I suspect we're going to see some kind of, again, another Assassin's Creed for the Switch game. But the game that I'm probably the most hyped for, most excited about, if we remember, Gods and Monsters was shown last year, and this was kind of a Zelda-looking game from Ubisoft, which was actually scheduled for a release of February 2020. So this game has now had an extra almost 9 months kind of in the hopper. I suspect we're going to get a solid date for that, or I shouldn't say 9 months, but 7 months. I suspect we're going to get a solid date for that, and it's going to be 2020 as well.
That's a cool one to see it come into fruition too, because that one looked cool. Looking forward to that, and I think a newer Assassin's Creed, if they can get it running on the Switch, like Origins, I had the opportunity to play it elsewhere, but I didn't. So the opportunity to come to the Switch on the go would be pretty cool too.
Yeah, exactly. Got some people coming into the Twitch chat as well. Guys, thanks so much for joining us here. We appreciate it. See you over on YouTube as well. Awesome. We're about 10 seconds away. Hey, Jesse, can you turn up the volume?
Yeah, I kept it down intentionally for pre-show.
Cool.
And by the way,
go,
Sammy
folks.
says
3,
hi to you
2,
guys.
1.
Sammy says hi to everybody.
Hi, Sammy.
This is Ubisoft Forward.
Let me know if you need me to change the volume. I have it down a little bit.
Meet the devs. See the games.
Join us.
Hi everyone, I'm Neelam Kumar, and I'm very
Hi, Neelam
excited to be
Kumar.
co-hosting the first
Hello.
Ubisoft Forward with the talented Yusuf Mageed. Today's show is all about getting up close and in-depth with all the exciting games we have in production here at Ubisoft.
I'm Yusuf.
Welcome
but
to our
there's no time
social
to waste.
distant D3.
So let's head straight for the streets of futuristic London and see what the hackers of DedSec are getting into.
Are we going to never
Here we
see
go.
two
We're going
people
straight
in the
into
same
Watch
frame?
Dogs.
The
Not
illegal
actual
paintings
gameplay.
spreading subversive and hostile messaging over the last few weeks across London are not the work of several people, as was originally believed, but the work of an individual. The criminal, suspected to have links with the terrorist group DedSec, is marked as to be dangerous.
I did get thinking about it a little bit this morning, Tim, about, with the delay, because this game was supposed to come out last year. That could have been to tune it up, but that may have also been hey, let's get this on the Switch also.
Authorities recommend not to approach the individual.
First, they came for the foreigners, and I did not
It's almost
speak out
scary though now
because I was
to
not a
see
foreigner.
newer games come to the Switch, depending on who's working on it and whether they can get it to work appropriately on the Switch.
Then they came for the protest.
Much as I would like to see all of these come over.
and I did not
Notice
scary.
it's almost never the original first-party
Because I
developers
was not a
doing the
protester.
port.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not holding my breath.
It's because they just don't know how to code for it, so you have to
But it
outsource
seems smart for companies to take games they've done before, like
They
say
came
Watch
for
Dogs
the
1 and 2,
journalists,
bring it over
did
so
not
it
speak
gives
out.
people interest,
because I was
and
not
then
a
maybe
Just as
they'll
long
go
as-
and buy it in a second
Just
system.
don't pull a 2K and release 14 games on the same day.
Yeah,
Right.
that was a bit hard.
And then
Like,
they
and again,
came
this
for
is
street
it'd be cool if it did show up on the Switch.
protests. I did not
doubt
speak
it.
out
But I think like that bundle, that Watch Dogs 1,
because
2,
I am not a street
I don't
artist.
know.
Yeah. Well, it's almost like my wish to see Cyberpunk come to the Switch too. But
Yeah, I mean, that would be
coming.
amazing, right?
I want one of those hover contraptions. It's not a hoverboard.
I'm not getting
more of a
any audio, by
hover
the way, Jesse.
platform. You're not?
Yeah, not hearing the audio on the video, but I don't know if it's because of just I don't know.
Oh, I can turn it up more.
Can people on Twitch hear it? I guess
And I realised that eventually they'd come for me,
Yeah, you can hear it on Twitch.
and there would be no one left to speak for me.
can hear them talking.
Yeah, Mecca, does it sound better now, or do I have to go lower?
After a long night,
I did turn it down a little bit.
is in chaos. The main arteries through the city are blocked. Hundreds of heavily
Or,
armed Albion
Well.
or is it hard to
Welcome
tell?
to the Resistance. Here's a welcome gift for our new members.
But the disappearance of the criminal
You could have told me it was a bloody costume party.
has been raised.
Try it on.
The new key suspect has been identified as David Ford, a 43-year-old London taxi driver. He has no criminal record, but is currently believed to be a terrorist. People have been asked not to approach him. The authorities advise all residents.
I do think it looks
with
good.
his nose? What happened to his nose?
I'm Clint Hawking.
I'm confused.
Clint has been a longtime creative force here at Ubisoft, and now he's bringing this vision to Watch Dogs Legion.
So yeah, what we just saw was an amazing short film by the director Alberto Mielgo that was inspired by Watch Dogs Legion and looks at the game and the universe and the characters through his incredible artistic vision and visual style.
The city needs a resistance.
Like the film,
Yeah,
Watch
it
Dogs
looks crazy
Legion tells the
visually.
story
Yeah,
of
it does.
ordinary heroes, setting aside their differences in order to come together as a collective and to fight for a positive change. You can literally recruit and
The
play
first Watch
anyone
Dogs,
who you
when
see
I
in the
remember it
open
came out,
world.
it had
Profile
my
people
interest.
that are
I had a friend who
interesting
had, like, a
to you.
PS3 or whatever
You
it
help
was.
them with their
And I was like,
problem. You
this is
play
so
their
good.
origin mission.
And I was like, I'm gonna wait for it to come to the Wii U. Wait for it to come
Sounds
to the
like
Wii
a
U.
dead sick
And
problem.
it came to the Wii U, and I
Leave
was
it
like,
to us.
ugh.
And that's how you recruit them
Yeah, that was a
onto the
mistake.
team. And then
I
they
didn't
become the heroes
even
of the
touch it.
game
I was like,
and
it
the
was
stars
so.
of
It
your
was like
story.
9 months after release.
You with Albion?
It's a challenge of being like caught in the hype cycle of something and then it passing you. Do you know what I mean? And by that time, like everyone stopped talking about it,
Yeah,
and the
I-
reviews would come
I-
out and spoilers.
Yeah, right. And I'm
I bought that on
Che
day
Guevara.
one
You done?
on PS3,
And they make the
and
story not only unique to them, but unique to you
completely
as the
regretted
player
it
and
15
personal to
minutes
you
later.
because they're heroes that you've chosen.
now, my
and
kids
invested in.
liked it. I don't know if they
What
got
would I say
60
to
bucks
fans?
worth
I guess
out of
I'd
it,
say,
but at least they put more time
take
into
care
it
of
than I
yourselves,
did.
Stay safe. Welcome to the
That's
Resistance.
a very divisive. What is it? Decisive. or
Music's
divisive
Jay, they
Divisive
didn't
game?
say. I imagine it'll be for
A modern metropolis.
Xbox One, PS4,
Built
Xbox
on
Series X, and
history
Xbox
and prosperity.
PlayStation 5,
Only took
PlayStation
12,000
4,
years to build
PlayStation
it
5.
up.
Whatever I
And
see.
Yeah, I
one
think
night to tear
I
it all
suspect that
down.
this is cross-platform. The only thing the cross-platform part with question mark right now is Switch.
Yeah.
I suspect they'll probably say Stadia as well. Gotta remember, Ubisoft is really in depth with Stadia.
in and lock down the city.
You
Yeah, I can see my.
Stadia even
see my
had a
daughter
mention
playing this.
yesterday
London
during
under attack by
Devolver.
a mysterious
Sorry,
terrorist.
say that again, Jesse.
Stadia had a
The
mention last
government
night
turns
during
to a
Devolver.
private military company called Albion to keep everyone safe.
And I can see my daughter
What
getting
could
into this. She
possibly
really
go
likes
wrong?
GTA 5 online.
Ladies and gentlemen,
So,
Mr.
yeah,
Nigel
this kinda gives me
Cass,
the vibe.
CEO.
My oldest
But
likes
more of a-
GTA, so she might dig this.
He's kindly
Yeah.
stepped up to
This
establish
has more
order.
of a futuristic aspect.
Understand this.
Yeah, like I definitely love the idea behind it. I love the setting of London. Like there's a lot of things about this that's like if this came to Switch, yeah, I'd be
He
in.
will stop at nothing to permanently control the city.
But I can only imagine if it comes to Switch, it's like, and by the way, it's a 64 gig download.
Yeah, and also
Nigel's
too, if
not
there's
the
any
only
online
opportunist who's
component,
taken
I
a
wonder
liking to this
if
fair city.
they'll just
Oh, there will
come
be.
to
Mary
Switch
Kelly,
if there will
who
be
is the most
online.
powerful crime
Okay,
syndicate in
but
London.
the online portion, will that be on? That type of
She and her
stuff.
goons are using the dark
Or will
web
it
to
only
It
sell
be
likely
online?
will. It likely will be a
From
download.
party
It won't be on
people.
card.
Right.
This microchip is scary, I know, but I got to keep tracks on my merchandise, don't I?
You made me a slave.
You do not want to ruffle her feathers. With the city out on its arse, it now falls on you to build a resistance and take back.
So we are almost 10 minutes into this thing, and we are sitting nice and deep in this pocket.
Faces on, guns out.
Any of the brave Londoners you see walking the streets,
You like
Can be
the way that
recruited into
they're deep diving this. You've got to be able to put a release
Like
date
him.
of like September 2020. Like it's got to be twice if they're deep diving.
or even her.
I don't know.
If you remember again before,
last year they seemed to do a pretty good deep dive.
In our first mission,
I know, and that's the thing is, remember, you got to remember, Ubisoft last year took a knee, right? Basically, Q4 of last year they took a knee and said we're not releasing anything and we're taking time to do some stuff, right?
You see here are people we have
so I think a lot of these things have been sitting in their kind of their hopper. They've got investors who are also saying you need to get these out because we need to start getting, we need to start seeing some returns. But I think a lot of the games that they had listed last year, you're gonna see some really aggressive dates here.
Yes, Micah, this is still Watch Dogs.
Like everyone in DedSec, Arthur can hack pretty much whatever. But as a construction worker, he has a particular set of tools that make him handy. He can even call his own cargo drone. Perfect for gate crashing, when you're not invited. And who needs a regular old gun when you have a
Isn't that the point of gate crashing? Have we ever had a game where a staple gun was a weapon?
Jesus Christ,
or I guess a nail gun?
Perhaps we could approach this mission.
I'm sure we have. I just can't remember.
If you'd rather keep your distance, we've got you covered.
James Bond, I think.
Amy is a
James
drone
Bond
expert.
Oh yeah, probably that feels about right.
What have we here?
A real tech connoisseur.
Hate spiders, but love this one.
What an adorable creepy crawler.
Here we are. Let's class the place up.
A drone expert does have the unique ability to summon their own drone. This little darling is fast and stealthy.
She aims, she fires, she hits.
I'm reading incoming drones.
Ooh, I like that.
Still think the best weapon in any game was the Layton game took apart a
She could also hack enemy drones,
slot machine and turned it
turning the
into
tide in
a
her
machine
favor.
gun that shot tokens.
And if you are not into direct confrontation, there are more ways than one to get the job done. Recruiting
Does he look
an
like
Albion
Keanu
officer
Reeves?
like Brielle here might be challenging, but it'll get
So
you
RJ's
inside
asking,
restricted
is this
Albion
for
areas.
Xbox One and PS4? We don't know yet. They didn't say exactly which systems yet. We're assuming so.
I imagine PS4, Xbox One, and then it'll be cross-compatible, or be...
in the back of her head.
What is the upgrade system that they have on them? Fast delivery or smart delivery?
Oh, yeah, yes. Yeah.
Well, that's an Xbox thing, but yeah. But
yeah, whatever
and
PlayStation
PS4 has it too if
or
they
PlayStation
announce
5
it.
will.
Right.
Yeah. So now we're at 12 minutes onto this thing. I don't know how long this presentation is going for.
So,
Criminals running our streets.
I'm not sure if that smart delivery is for all Xbox One games at this starting now, or just first party.
Well, that's
I
seems to be
believe
enough evidence.
I believe if I understand
Next up,
correctly, it
we're
is
crashing
for
Mary
all
Kelly's organ
first
farming
parties,
operation
but
and
optional
putting a
for the
stop
other
to it.
companies.
That's good. The buyers
Makes
expect
sense.
high quality stuff.
And we need a hard nut for this.
Impairing our frontal lobe again, are we?
Bags, don't disturb me in my natural habitat.
Say hello to Mickey. The man lives for his team.
That put another air on
Is
the
he going to
chest.
slip?
And doesn't mind getting his hands dirty.
No, nothing. Thank you.
I missed it. Something about tea and slipping.
His name is Mickey, and I asked if he's going to slip.
He does have a
Oh,
slight
slip of
drinking
Mickey.
problem,
Nice.
though. And he's passed out. Ah, well.
I just
come
call
back
that guy Gary Gray.
You know what? Let's go with someone a bit more professional.
Nice.
Yeah, him. Didn't he look? Do we have Keanu Reeves in another game?
It's almost crass to call him a hitman.
Still has a tag on his helmet.
I can't read. That's John Wick.
A lot of people in the Ubisoft chat right now are calling that out.
Yeah, and then he's also in Cyberpunk.
Yep.
Here's the bastard
I wonder if that was something they were trying to get
Done and dusted.
rights to, and they couldn't, or even try to get Keanu Reeves into this game
Not
and found out
everyone
he's
in
in
London
another
is a
game.
legendary assassin or a super spy.
I like this Birdman on
Everyone
Birdman on
can be a
YouTube
hero.
says, "Can we have a next, please?" Mecha
So
Dragon
get
in our
out
chat
there,
says, "So much
find the
British
best
accent,
recruits,
wouldn't be surprised if John Oliver
and
makes an
build
appearance."
your resistance. It's
That's a
time
James
to
Bond car.
get back
Yeah, we're getting an
London.
aggressive montage here at the end. It should be wrapping up, and we're at 15 minutes in this presentation. Here we go.
October 29th.
Pre-order now. Ah, there you go.
Plunging the player into a living, breathing city teeming with unique
End of
locales
October,
and
not a
characters
shock.
has always been a central pillar of the Watch Dogs series.
So what goes into building those worlds? Here's Amanda Munt to tell us more.
Yep, they're still talking about Watch Dogs.
My name's Amanda Munt. I'm a level
Are they gonna
artist
talk about
on
anything
Watch
else?
Dogs
How long
Legion
is this thing?
At Ubisoft Toronto.
I know, right?
Being a level artist, I think, is the coolest job.
Yeah, I picked
in
on
video
Devolver
games
a little bit
because
yesterday
we
for
do
making
get
5.5
the freedom
announcements in
to kind of,
45
like,
minutes.
pick and choose
But-
what little details we
Wow.
want to depict, and we get ample opportunities to tell the stories that we want to tell in the spaces that we're assigned to.
Makes me worry.
I have the capacity to
A couple
hide things
things.
and, like small little Easter eggs.
Either
in AC Unity, there
Ubisoft
was a
doesn't
boat
have a
somewhere
lot
in
of
the
their
world that
sleeve,
was covered
a
in
lot
gaps.
planned, or
And then
they just have
it
bad
happened again
pacing.
in Watch Dogs 2, and there may or may not be something in London that is
I
a
vote
boat
both.
filled with cats in some capacity. So I was fortunate enough to go to E3 last year. Some of the people that I was showing our demo to were from London, so no matter where I dropped them in the city, they'd go, "Oh my God, this feels like Camden. This feels like Southwark. This feels like Westminster." When people are talking about some detail that I've put into the world and they're excited about it, like that feels so good as somebody who, builds these worlds with care.
This is why I still want
love
to
it.
play Detroit for the PS4 because of Detroit to see if I recognize anything.
Sure.
See, if they had a Kansas City-based game,
And
I
now
wouldn't
some
be able to
news
tell
for
you
Brawlhalla fans.
if they put
In just a
landmarks in or
few
not,
weeks,
because I really
you'll
don't
be
pay
able
attention.
to battle it out with your
Yeah.
favorite
At least
legends
you're
on
honest.
iOS and Android devices.
I avoid
Brawlhalla,
downtown.
Brawlhalla's free on the Switch right now. It's a free-to-play game, kind of like their version of Smash Brothers.
3,
I played it
2,
like for
1.
Ramen sign?
Oh,
Are they putting
wow.
in their version of Min Min? Coming
Either,
to
have you guys,
mobile.
either of you guys played this before?
No.
Brawlhalla?
I think Marty has.
Yeah. It's I mean, it very much is trying to be like a Smash Brothers of like Ubisoft, essentially.
Right. Do they have any Ubisoft characters in Smash?
No, they don't.
Oh, this might be why.
Yeah. But yeah, again, it's free to play. Check it out. It's not bad. It just didn't catch my attention. all the
And
way
now,
through. And they got a battle.
whether
They
you
got a
need
battle
Tom
pass.
Clancy
that they
action
monetize.
fix on the go,
Okay.
or want to dive back into one of the most beloved fantasy franchises in gaming, we've got you covered.
Wait, what? Tom Clancy on the go? Did you guys hear that? He did say, "You want to dive into Tom Clancy's on the go?"
I did not hear that. Another mobile clone of another mobile clone?
Yeah, it was alright.
The target is being held on the ground floor.
Elite Squad? This is their Fortnite clone.
Sorry, did I hear the Switch clip at the beginning of this?
No.
Yeah, this definitely feels like it's going to be a Switch game.
Montaigne is down. Request air support. Target northeast rooftop.
Roger. Inbound. Danger close.
I need an EMP deployed now.
EMP imminent.
That's not how EMPs work. If anything, the whole mechanism would have shut down to keep it locked. Not instantly.
Oh, Splinter Cell. What?
Hey, take this.
Sam Fisher.
Don't make me regret this.
Was I supposed to know this?
Tom, Elite coming soon.
More mobile crap.
More mobile? Come, like if that's mobile, that's got to be able to go to the
Speaking
Switch.
of Tom Clancy, it's been 5 years
But
since
is
Rainbow
it,
Six
if it's mobile,
first
do we
launched,
want it on
and
the
the
Switch?
community
No,
has
that's the
never
other
been
part.
stronger.
Yeah, that's a great point.
In celebration of this
I'd
milestone,
make the argument
Ubisoft
about,
Montreal has
Pokemon
put together
Cafe.
a special video to thank all of the amazing players and developers.
Again, I didn't
who
buy it.
helped
I didn't
see
download it
become
on the
the game
Switch.
It is today.
Yeah. Neither did I.
And I only played it the one day. I had not gone back to it. And I have no plans on
In
playing
December
Unite.
2015, a small team released Rainbow
The only
Six
thing I can think
Siege,
of is that if these companies themselves aren't showing anything Nintendo-wise
A game
too
built
heavily,
on a
is it
strong
because
vision.
they're trying to save the best for
Creativity,
Nintendo's own show?
competitiveness,
Nintendo said, if you have something to show, do it.
Yeah.
Because they
well,
had
that
nothing.
was rumored. That's what they said. We didn't get an official thing about that, did we?
True.
Well, Nintendo wouldn't officially say that, though.
Right.
That
But here's the
original
other thing.
vision
None
was
of these
quickly
games, other
adopted
than
by a
iOS
passionate
and Android,
community,
have
propelling
actually
it to a
shown
whole
what
new
platform they're
level.
for. Watch Dogs didn't show us what platform they're for. They gave us a date.
Such a special moment.
Yeah,
and
that's true.
being At
Which is
1 year
trying to figure that
anniversary of
out,
Rainbow
too.
Six
Like,
now,
why would they do
game
that?
being stronger than ever, more players
Like you
today than
should,
we had
you
in the
know, I'm
past.
sorry, by the end of
It
October, by
means,
then you should know
the
what
world
platform
to
you're
us.
going to. They shouldn't be
But
shot.
we also had our share
Especially
of
with
At least have
two-
their symbols down there.
Especially with two consoles coming out less than a month after that.
Health that touches upon subjects like matchmaking, connectivity, all those aspects are absolutely critical
Maybe it'll be
to
on
the experience of
Kamiko.
the player.
Kamiko, nice.
Through it all, we're always driven by you, our community. And together,
No.
we grow stronger.
They haven't said anything about Switch
There
at
is
all.
no sequel plan, and we're
anywhere.
here for the
Yeah,
next
nothing
10
yet,
years.
Birdman.
Expect more Rainbow Six in your life for quite some time. Look at this.
Also, again, guys, big thank you to everyone who's joined us over on Twitch and YouTube for this as well. Thank you so much.
I think we have more people now than we have during a regular podcast.
Thank you for the Twitch subs, the YouTube subs, the Twitch Prime stuff. Thank you so much for just being here and supporting as well. Hopefully you guys enjoy this content.
Now
Probably more
60
people
million
because it's 3
players
o'clock on a
strong.
Sunday afternoon.
We're just getting
Probably.
started.
And as
If
opposed
I were to
to
stream anything, we would get 2 people.
From the devs
Right.
that build the game to the community that plays it, thank you.
Okay, so you've talked a lot about Siege here. Talked a lot about it. Like, what is it just a
If you
month,
haven't
like,
tried it yet, dive into our new Operation Steel Wave update available now and take Ace and Malusi out for a spin.
I don't
A
want
few
to.
days ago, we introduced y'all to a brand new multiplayer shooter.
Yeah.
Now,
Hyperscape?
it's time to venture into the Hyperscape.
I want this on the Switch. It ain't coming to the Switch. Whatever.
Wait, what was that? A hack in the hyperscape. That's not supposed to be there. Let me get you all up to speed, okay? About 30 years ago, everything that we feared about our future started to come true. We made some good decisions. We made some bad decisions. Actually, we made a lot of bad decisions. So, here we are. 10 10 billion souls living in the crush of the megacities.
That cow have virtual goggles on?
Sure did.
But the people at Prisma changed everything.
And that was like
I had actually
a drone trying to deliver food, but the bottom fell out of it.
They gave everyone a way out. The Hyperscape. In the Hyperscape,
Ready Player One?
Exactly.
is Crown Rush. This
And even,
is where anyone can become someone.
Supergirl did something up in there over the last year or two with something similar.
Okay.
So this is exactly
I like it though.
concept.
I like it.
Yeah, you got a PlayStation, right, don't you?
PS4, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's available. It's available on PS4.
Okay. I just picked up PSVR as well, so I've been playing around with that. I picked up the Iron Man kit, and
nice.
I haven't had a chance to play Iron Man yet.
If you get good at Crown Rush,
But we've been playing around with the demo.
We should be giving you a
Change
PlayStation
your
Dad's
life.
podcast channel. What we should be doing.
But strange
Right.
things have been happening lately. Rumors of people getting hurt. Users disappearing from the real world. A darker secret lies at the heart of Hyperscape. And we have to find it.
Interesting. They're trying to build their lore around this
Some
game.
of us
right,
are
obviously.
searching for a way up. Some of
Hey,
us
like I said,
for a
I like
way
it.
out.
I like where it's going.
It's a game where you play inside of an MMO. We haven't heard that
all
before.
together.
Hmm.
That's what
Speaking of
brings
which, I
us
bought
to the
that game.
edge
I
of
just
the
haven't started
future.
it yet.
To the
Yeah.
Hyperscape.
If there's a PSVR version of this, I think I would download it.
I would
JC,
vomit.
creative director on Hyperscape.
JC's work on Far Cry Primal and multiple Prince of Persia titles has established him as a top creative here at Ubisoft.
For me, what's exciting is we started building it from scratch, seeing it grow, adding ideas.
So right
It was
now,
really
it looks
cool.
like they're talking about all these games. They do have a release date for one, but
The
they're
game
not
takes place in
telling us what
2054.
they're for,
It's in a
except for the
future
mobile version.
where humanity has grown a little
Well, and
bit.
Hyperscape's already out.
One of the,
Okay.
the companies
They
there.
did a
launching
soft
what's
kind of
called the
like
Hyperscape, which is a
launch
virtual world. And the
early
internet of the
July where they
future. It's a
publicized
place
it.
where
And I
everything
think people were able. I know they had some beta keys out there and demos.
Within the
and
virtual
they
world,
said it was coming to
there is a
consoles,
battle
but I don't think
royale
they had a
that takes
date.
place
Like,
in
they
the
didn't say
virtual
Switch.
city
They
of
said
Neo
Xbox and
Arcadia.
PlayStation. So this may actually give a live out of beta date. So it's available I think on Steam or something to
Then
play
we
with
also
beta
introduce
keys.
a lot of new things.
Okay.
You get the opportunity to do parkour on the rooftops, to go into
Is it
interiors,
also
interesting
free to play,
their
or
approach
is
on
that
narrow,
something
much
you
more
have to buy?
stressful. You get to go to the landmarks where there's more.
Yeah, I agree. Like, we're not
opportunities to
seeing
get
anything
cool
new.
items, but also more players, so it's a risk
And we are
reward
half
kind
an
of
hour
deal.
into this thing.
We introduced the notion of hacks, special abilities that you can pick up on the fly to adapt your tactics. With hacks, you can do things like teleport
Is this
yourself.
typical of their
you
E3s?
can
I
wrap
don't
yourself
remember.
into
Like
a
if
ball
they did an
and
E3
bounce around the
presentation, did they talk
battlefield.
about the stuff they've done so
a lot of
far, or
abilities
what
that
they
will
are
let
doing,
you
or what we
have
know of,
fun,
and then
that
towards
toys
the
that
end,
you
we
can play
know
with.
we see new stuff. I don't
Finally,
remember.
it's
I don't
made
think
as a
so.
spectacle, so
I think they're
all the
pretty
viewers
more
will be able to interact
generally
with the game in
fast to
different
pace.
levels through the Twitch extension.
They'll, like their last game
Every
might
few
go into
minutes,
a deep
there's going
dive
to
to
be a
wrap
vote,
things up.
and viewers
but
will be able to
not the first
decide
game.
what effect
They are
want to
happy
affect
though
the
to like
whole
give a
battle.
little bit of
Things like
highlight space
changing
in
the
their dev
gravity,
teams.
infinite
They're
ammo,
usually
or
happy to
stuff
be
like
like,
that.
hey,
So
and you know, we've got
players,
X
while this
here to
happens,
talk
really
about
have
it
to
for 5
adapt
minutes
to all kinds of
or
stuff that is happening.
promote it or whatever, right? It's not typically just one voice, one person.
So for me, it's really exciting
They're happy to
because
provide a
right
little bit of
now, as we
diversity,
speak,
but-
we're launching the open
Yeah, that is
beta,
pretty
and
cool.
so it's going to be available for free-to-play for all PC players worldwide. And I really want to
It's
thank
rough though
all
for
the
us, right?
players,
Trying
all the
to
streamers,
want to
and
talk
all the
about
viewers
stuff, and it's just
participating
like
in tech test and
it's just something we can talk about.
Here's a short glimpse of what you can expect.
Watch and learn how it's done. Perfecto.
Showtime.
I mean, there's such a
That's mine.
the massive online multiplayer genre, right? Whether it's Fortnite, whether it's
Let's show 'em
Valorant,
what I
whether it's
made
Hyperscape. There's so many of these games, right? I mean, Apex is another example, right? These games that kind of have some of these quick load systems and objective-based hunting.
All vying for that market share.
Yeah, because they realize there's money in that, right? It's games as a service.
Here we go.
It's the long-term you continue to want to be playing the game. Yeah, open PC beta right now.
Okay.
The digital world of the Hyperscape gave our artists and developers incredible freedom when it came to designing characters.
Production manager Ana Maria Musca is going to take us behind the scenes of character design.
Really?
My name is Ana Maria Musca.
You
I'm the
looked at
production
a
manager for
character
characters and
design.
weapons on
You looked at a
Hyperscape.
Fortnite model. We copied
We
it.
have paid an exceptional amount of detail to our
Just
characters.
copy and paste
we
it.
switch different
can
outfits,
we do
different
to
fashion
make money?
statements, different tattoos, different materials until we see them as real individuals, as real people. So the second you pick a character, you see them in game, you understand what their motivations are and what drives them and what challenges them.
A lot of promotion
This
of
was
Montreal
the first
here. Or a lot
lineup of characters.
highlighting
This is our
Canada?
default base. But
it's
even
easier
starting
to
from
do
the
when
hair
you're a
down,
company
everything
that
has been meticulously thought
lives
of.
in Montreal.
Would this person
I know,
actually
right?
like this type of outfit? Would this person enjoy the type of tattoos that we're putting on them? Will they actually like to be in this body? Each season, we
I'm gonna
plan
look up
to
the
produce new
free-to-play
outfits for these
information
characters.
here.
So we're hoping some of our players are gonna see the effort and maybe even correlate some of the accessories to what's gonna happen in the game.
Gotta download Uplay,
We're
so
very
that's
excited to see it in
another
people's hands.
area I gotta go download if I wanted to participate.
As we move
I've already
into the
got
next
Steam, I
generation
already
of
got
gaming,
Xbox, I
Ubisoft
got
has been working
PlayStation
closely
now,
with console
I got
makers
Epic
to take
Store.
advantage of all the extraordinary
Ubisoft wants me to
capabilities
download their
these
thing.
new consoles will offer.
Now we have a special guest to tell us a little more.
Hey everyone, Phil Spencer from Xbox. With Watch Dogs Legion,
I am unhappy
Ubisoft
with this man.
is supporting smart delivery. So you will get the absolute best version of the game on any version of Xbox you're playing on. On Series X, you'll get to take advantage of the amazing work the team has done with DirectX ray tracing.
Why did
to
they not
create
put
an
this at the end of their
absolutely
Watch Dogs
immersive
Legion
version
thing they
of
just did?
London like
Why
you've
is it gonna
never
end at
seen
Hyperscape?
before. Ubisoft
I think
has
it's
a unique ability
just-
to create immersive
I think so.
worlds.
You said it was
Setting a new
optional for
bar
third
that
parties.
continues
He's
to
saying
drive
that they're
our
taking part in the
industry forward.
program. So I think all
I'm
of
a
their
huge
games will
fan
do
of
this.
Assassin's Creed. I love the time I've spent exploring the
But
world.
you know,
of
when he was on
Assassin's Creed
Devolver's
Odyssey,
show yesterday,
and I can't wait for you to see
talking about a game that is
gameplay
coming to
from
Switch,
Assassin's Creed Valhalla
he
that's coming up now.
specifically left out the Switch when he mentioned the
All right.
platforms that'll be
We
coming
know you've been
out
waiting to
for
hear
the
more
game
about
that
this
he
game since it
referring
was
to.
announced back in April.
Really?
And
I don't
now
know
it's
if you
time
caught
for a
that.
deep dive into
I
the world of
don't
Vikings.
remember, but I have notes.
My name is Julien
I took
Laferrière,
notes
and I'm the
and-
producer of Assassin's Creed Valhalla. So a couple of weeks ago, we announced Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and the reaction from the fans was just amazing. The time period of Vikings is really, really inspiring. When we did our research, we found that, they were not mindless barbarians. Vikings were actually farmers trying to find new lands for them to settle. And so they had really
Was it Carry
human
On?
motivations.
That's one that I'm interested for the
So
Switch.
for us to have this opportunity to tell kind
you're
of
the
the
monster
real
that has to
story
go
about
around.
Vikings
Yeah, it might have been Carry
and
On.
kind of separate
Okay.
ourselves from the myths
coming up pretty quick,
and the
too.
folklore is
Yes,
really
that's
something
coming
that drove
out
us to make
July
this game.
23rd.
The team
Devolver,
went to
right?
Norway and
Yes.
England.
Oh yeah, it was
to take
Carry
the
On
same
because
roads that the
Okay.
Vikings did
that
to really
beastie was complaining that he
experience what it meant
had
to
a
be
co-host
Viking
with someone.
at that time.
And then when he found out his co-host was
And then
Spencer, he
leaving
was happy.
Norway, which is barren
That's
but
funny.
majestic, and just coming by boat in England and see those rolling.
But he
wheels
said, yeah, it's
full
coming
of
to
sheep,
Xbox and
full of
PC
life.
on
It's
the
just this
July blah blah
moment
blah, and
that
we're like, and the
most
Switch.
likely
you
the
know.
And the Switch,
Vikings
yes.
felt as well. You need to see this
Well,
land.
it's a
of
tough one to fight
opportunity.
against if you like.
And this is
everybody wants to
exactly
play
the
their games
feeling
on the go.
we want players to experience in this game.
Would you like code for Carry On?
It
Sure,
is
yeah, it seems like a quick
personal
game I could
adventure.
do.
It is the story of Eivor, a Viking chieftain. Eivor is either a male or a female. You decide when you start the game. They will have to leave Norway to settle in England because you just can't live in Norway anymore. There's too much political pressure, no resources available. Obviously, in England, it's full of Anglo-Saxons and other people, and they don't really want you there. So you will have
This
to
is
fight
another
your
one
way
I wouldn't
there
mind
kind
coming
of
to the Switch,
build
but
your
again,
own
afraid
settlement and
of
see
the
your
quality
clan
of it
prosper.
if it does.
Yeah, this one's not going to come to Switch for sure, or at least not this year.
Vikings were
Resolution will
brutal
have to
warriors.
downgrade to pre-7 480p. Like
I mean,
other games.
And the fact
I'll
that they
probably
were
want to
mastering
play.
a lot
I mean,
of weapons
see,
coming
Assassin's
from
Creed
the
games, they
medieval
always seem
times
interesting to
really
me, but
inspired
it's like
us to
every
kind
time I
of
go to
revamp
play
the
one, I
fight
don't play them
system
long enough.
to
know,
leverage
so
the
I don't ever
brutality
I
and the
don't
intensity
ever
of
complete
Viking
them.
combat. Vikings were not only fighting face to face; they were masters of stealth and
Well, again,
deception
this one looks
when
pretty
needed.
sweet.
They used basically any sort of tactics they could use to win the battle. So we want to portray the full range of combat that you can imagine coming from the Vikings. We are very happy to finally be able to show you the game we've all been working on. So please enjoy this deep dive into Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
Another deep dive.
Boy. There you go, Tim. Submitted.
Okay.
In
Thank you.
Assassin's Creed Valhalla,
I saw that coming
we'll
through
relive
Devolver
the
a couple
epic
days ago
saga
for like
of
a
the
request
Viking
form.
invasion of England. You play as Eivor, a Viking from Norway, who will lead his or her battle-hardened warriors across the North Sea to the British Isles. Eivor is driven by an ambitious goal, to build a thriving Norse settlement in a hostile land.
For the good of our clan, it is time we go a Viking.
They are going
Today
to
we raid,
they're going to deep
that
dive this
tomorrow
one.
we may build.
England is a dark age tangle of broken.
I wonder where they're going to
dynasties.
how like are they going to release this in
Opportunity and
November
riches.
because they just put Watch Dogs out at the end of October.
As you prowl
They're not going to.
England's
They don't want to
rivers by
cannibalize those
longship,
sales.
You may raid locations you spot from the shoreline. Ground your ship and blow your horn to lead your raiding crew into battle.
Yeah. Did they say this would be a 2020 game?
They didn't yet.
I think they typically are. Like they didn't have one last year, did they? Assassin's Creed.
No, they didn't.
They usually do a miss a year.
Okay.
And I think they're going to feel a lot of
Unless it's
pressure.
sooner.
Your crew
Yeah,
will
and I
assist
think they're
you
going
in
to feel a
all
lot of
your
pressure to
raids,
get their games out. Again.
fighting enemies,
Yeah. That'd be something
battering
else
down
if they said
doors,
August.
and stealing cargo too heavy for one set of arms. Whatever riches and resources you pillage may be used to develop your settlement, giving you access to useful services, better tools, and new settlers. At the heart of your settlement is the Alliance map. It will serve as a record of the allies you have made, and a guide for future
it's a November
opportunities. The Viking Age was a time of
This
warriors
game is just giving
and
me more
legends.
reasons to not get it.
In Valhalla, you will find the largest
Really?
variety of enemies ever assembled in an Assassin's Creed game. Every archetype offers a unique challenge. Some will coordinate with their allies.
It is interesting
for
though,
special attacks,
considering that
while others will use nearby
Assassin's Creed
objects to their
games,
advantage,
if I'm not
including
mistaken,
the bodies of fallen
you work with
warriors.
people, but you still are
To
kind
face
of a
these
loner.
attacks, you must find and exploit your
And
opponent's
this is like
weaknesses
you-
to gain the upper hand.
You are fighting by yourself,
Take
but you
the
have
fight to
your
your foes with a host of brutal
allies,
new combat abilities.
and you're building a
Snare
community.
them with a Viking harpoon. Pummel them with throwing axes.
Interestingly enough, IGN put out like a 25-minute
Incapacitate them with a new
documentary this
stun
last week
system
on
to
like,
keep
the
them at a
history of
distance.
Assassin's Creed.
Or finish them off.
So I put that in my queue to watch later. It's pretty good actually. Nice
You
job
may
with the
wield
Aurora
any two
Borealis.
weapons you
thing,
wish
lights.
have to
to
check
unleash
that
a
out, too.
deadly combination of attacks.
I very much like the Viking theme.
Customize your fighting style as you
I
see
find that there are times like
become a
sometimes the themes fit really well.
Viking warrior.
I like number 3, like the American Revolution. That was cool.
yes.
Or the Pirates, I was like, eh.
All combinations
Liberation-
are available to dual.
Liberation from the
including
Vita
two
was the one I
shields.
played the most. Was it
Yeah.
long ago. But then when I sold my Vita, I didn't play it anymore. So I have it. I bought it. So
Switch. Yeah.
on the Switch. In fact, I just gave it to Sammy to try.
Situations call for violence.
And then what was it?
a
And then
Viking
there was
will
the
find a
Streets
way
of
to
London for one of them
adapt.
for I think like Syndicate.
As Eivor
And there
is
was
not
Origins,
welcome in
was like a
England,
Greek one, right?
you may
Like,
need
like
to
they always find
outsmart your
I
enemies,
usually find they have
avoiding
interesting themes,
unwanted
but Vikings
attention in
was
towns
really
and bustling cities.
really cool.
Yes, I agree.
Use Eivor's hood and cloak to blend with crowds, and slip past watchful eyes. An unseen hunter among
Got
the
any
people.
Vikings in your ancestry?
I'm fairly sure there is some.
From capital cities
In
and
Waterford,
villages
living in
to the
Ireland,
dense
there was a
forests
big
and rolling
Viking
hills of
pub
England.
area.
Exploration is
exploration
vital
time.
to
The
keeping
closest
yourself
my
sharp.
family ever got to Vikings
You must
was
feed off the
Minnesota.
land if you hope to endure. Hunt and forage
Football.
to replenish your health and fortify your equipment.
Nice.
Or I didn't hear what you said because I was looking up this
Search pagan
evolution of
temples and
Assassin's
Roman
Creed
ruins for new
documentary.
activities and challenges to strengthen yourself and your settlement.
So what did you say about football Vikings?
So the closest my family has ever
The
gotten
more
to
you
Vikings
explore,
is Minnesota.
The more of England's
Oh, yes.
secrets you will reveal.
Nice.
It's a beautiful looking game for sure.
No doubt.
But as you push deeper into England, the enemy will push back.
So what I've learned with
In a
my
series
second
of
system,
climactic
because
moments,
Nintendo being my first
Assassin's
system and then
Creed
my
Valhalla
PS4
will
being the
feature
second
massive
system, is I have
assaults
to
in which you
pick
lead
and choose
Ingvar's
what
army
games
into
I'm going to
battle
play on that.
against
So
heavily
I have to
guarded Saxon
I have
fortresses.
to understand what time I'm going to have to play on it. Like the last game I played and finished on the PS4 was the Jedi Fallen Order game. Next one I'm probably going to try to finish, even though I got Iron Man.
Assassin's Creed Valhalla
That was more
will
for us
transport
family
you
to
wondrous,
play around with.
haunted lands,
VR, and it's cool.
inspired by
But,
Norse myths and England's
next game
pagan
I'm looking
roots.
forward to on the PS4
It will
is Ghost of
challenge and
Tsushima.
surprise.
Yeah,
So,
that's
with
next week,
unforgettable
isn't it? Or the
characters.
week after
Yep.
next?
Yes.
Thrilling
So I got that
triumphs
pre-ordered, and that'll be one
and
I'll be
tragic
spending a lot of time
losses,
on my PS4.
giving you the chance
Nice.
to live your own Viking saga.
So I guess it'll just depend on the timing for this one, whether or not if I
Yep.
finish Ghost in time to be able to play something like this.
Stay tuned for more gameplay in our post show. Holy
Post
cow.
show! They stole our title.
Right?
No.
Do we got a date?
November 17th.
Told ya.
Ninth
Got the
Century
November
England
right.
is truly unlike anything the
Yeah.
franchise has
Justin
seen
was right.
before.
Justin was right.
Assassin's Creed Valhalla will release this holiday
Shoot a
season
button.
on Xbox Series X, PlayStation 5,
My
Xbox
thing
One,
wasn't even turned on.
PS4,
Give me a minute.
PC,
See, he doesn't
and
have it.
Stadia.
It's okay. We're not
Oh,
doing
you know,
the real show. So.
We're close
It's
to
past
wrapping up
now.
today,
Tim
but
did a
before we
good
go,
job.
our CEO,
The software isn't even running.
Before
I
we
had to-
go,
I had to end it to do an update.
I hope you will have enjoyed what you have seen today and that you will love playing these games. I'm proud of our teams for delivering an ambitious, broad, and creative lineup of games. And we haven't shown you everything yet. In fact, we have a lot more to come. So you will have another Ubisoft Forward to reveal even more about our upcoming games. But before ending
What?
this show, we have one more thing to share with you.
An eyeball.
this is Far Cry. Yeah, this is the teaser image they took out or put out last week or a couple days ago. This is the new Far Cry.
Mecha Dragon says, no new Rayman game. Okay, I'm already getting sick of the red circles.
Yeah.
In Mecca, they did say that there was another Ubisoft Forward coming up. They just didn't say when, and there's more games. So don't give up hope yet. For anybody else watching. But
This is
who knows? Like I said, maybe there's something that they're holding off or something Nintendo to show off. I mean, everything's all in chaos because of how we don't have an E3. Nobody's taking the lead on anything. Too many people are taking the lead on it, and there's so many different things going on. Who knows what's going on anymore? So this definitely all these games had nothing to do with Switch. Was there any games for the Switch? I missed.
No,
I can't remember.
No.
So it's amazing to me how they got all these big companies who aren't showing support as much for the Switch for a system that sold 55 million units.
Mm-hmm.
It's beautiful, Milo. Perfect, but useless.
But again, they can't make it look as pretty as they want on the Switch, so
Give me your
they don't do it.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why there's going to be a second Ubisoft Forward to talk about games that aren't as epic
The
as these.
grenade is simple. It has 4 basic parts. The shell, which contains the explosive, the fuse, the handle, and of course, the pin.
What are you doing?
Breathe. The pin simply holds the handle in place. It is only when you let go that this grenade goes boom. Follow me. Now.
That is the year right here.
I am El Presidente, which means that someday you will be El Presidente. And our people, they do not know how to be happy. They are torn apart by opinions, noise, indecision, strangled by their own freedoms. And even if you have love in your heart, even if you want what's best for them, if you only want to save them from themselves, they will hate you, Diego. Everything you say, do, believe.
This is a little too close to home, I think.
Okay.
They will answer you with screams, call you evil, a monster, and give you this. So you tell me, are you evil? And are you a monster? Because our country is like this grenade, except it has 2 basic parts. Our people. And you must clutch them nice and tight, or we all go boom. You understand now? Prove it.
Wow. Well, that makes
Deep
sense.
stuff there.
Yeah.
Looks like a perfect game for
And
the
with
Nintendo
that,
Switch.
we're wrapping up our first Ubisoft Forward. Today, we've seen the next generation of Assassin's
So that's
Creed,
interesting. Yeah, we're wrapping
the
up our
birth of
first
a resistance in
Ubisoft
Watch Dogs
Forward.
Legion, the cyber chaos of Hyperscape, and the epic reveal of Far Cry's newest installment, along with so much more.
Remember, we'll be back later this year with another Ubisoft Forward filled with tons of
see that
game
Rayman
news
there?
and updates.
Thanks for joining us.
I did not.
The little square clips there.
All right. And then they're jumping into Valhalla gameplay. All right. Well, folks, what are you
Yeah, I agree with Nick. I was captivated through the whole thing, regardless of what you think of the game. But
yeah, no,
that last one there.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, but
I agree with that as well.
It is definitely hard to watch when you're hoping for something that will come to a system you support, right? So we primarily support Nintendo Switch, and we didn't see anything there. So it can be viewed as possibly a waste of time, especially for something like you, Justin. Is it a waste of time for you because you don't have any other systems other than I don't even know if you play anything on your PC.
No, I don't. Well, the other reality though is, I mean, despite only, I think for myself, I consider myself kind of a student of the industry, right? So this is still very interesting to me. Like these games look amazing. Like, and if I had another console, yeah, I mean, like I would love to play basically everything they showed, right? Like those are the reality is I don't have that other console, so my gap is I would love for it to come there. Now they're not coming, that's fine.
Yes.
But I do think again, Ubisoft I guess more than anything else, for me, it is just more of a that's interesting. Like I would have thought that we would have done like more of a sizzle reel, more E3-esque, right? Now what they've done here at the end is they said, hey, look, we've got more to show you, but we're gonna do it again later. Like more of almost a Ubisoft Direct style, right? Which is fine. I think in some ways, again, it's about mitigating expectations. It would have been awesome had it been like, hey, during our Ubisoft Direct or Ubisoft Forward, we're going to focus on Valhalla, Watch Dogs Legions, Hyperscape, Brawlhalla, and we're going to have one surprise. Do you know what I mean? Like it's a little bit of that, and then you're able to manage that. Because my question is like, where's Gods and Monsters?
Yeah.
Right? Like that was, we didn't see Gods and Monsters. We didn't see a Just Dance announcement, right? I'm not saying I was looking for it, but like that's very circa Ubisoft. So I just think there's a little bit of maybe pacing that felt a little bit off. I think, Munker here says presentation was kind of a snooze fest. It could be. I mean, if you're excited about Legions, if you're excited about Valhalla, you're excited about Hyperscape, those are awesome things, but I just think it was a little bit of need to mitigate expectations.
Yeah. But at the same time, you were talking about industry, like marketing type stuff. If they're trying to get as many eyes on this as possible, they're going to leave it wide open, right? So, or maybe like you're saying, between those two things, between leaving it wide open and saying specific games, maybe they could have said, we're going to be showing off on this Ubisoft Forward PlayStation, Xbox, and mobile games, and then stay tuned for another Ubisoft Forward for another one, or even at the end of this one, at least say, they did say they're going to have another Ubisoft Forward, and maybe say look for it in August 2020 or something like that.
Yeah, like they could have almost given us another date, like, hey, join us again for our next Ubisoft Forward on September 19th at 1 p.m. Right? We're going to
as long as it isn't next week like Pokemon did. Yeah,
right. Like so. Again, I mean, I think the games that they're displaying are interesting. I do think that in a lot of ways it is kind of answering some of the questions that were outstanding from previous times, right? Like we've seen Watch Dogs Legions before. They needed to date that. Again, interestingly enough, there was no what systems it was coming to. Like when they gave that date,
that was.
I'm shocked it didn't say, PS whatever, right? Whatever,
all the little systems,
PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5,
icons
Stadia.
at the bottom. Yeah.
It didn't have any of that, which is very odd.
Right. It is very odd.
I don't know.
It is very odd.
Kind of tells me that maybe they're in negotiation with a few other platforms that isn't yet set in stone, like Stadia, as you said.
Maybe that's thinking of that. That might be a possibility because it depends on when those systems are coming out, right? So, as well as the newer systems. So,
yeah.
They could say.
Well, I was joking
October.
when I said about Miko. Obviously, these aren't going to show up on that or Atari.
Yes.
No, of course.
So the other two systems, everything here will be on.
Well, October they can say for PS4 and Xbox One, right? But when is the newer systems going to show? So maybe that's why they didn't say anything about that.
Okay, so it may not be day and date with the system release. You're saying that makes sense.
With the newer systems, yeah.
Yeah, it's possible. Right, and again, Ubisoft has very much kind of said that they're going to support Then they're going to support Stadia, right? So that's not a bigger shock there as
Right.
well. Jonathan in the chat from YouTube, did anything happen yet?
Nope.
In relation to Nintendo content, no, there was nothing officially revealed in any capacity. So I don't know.
Yep.
Jesse, any kind of final thoughts on this?
I know. I still thought I am unhappy about that. Seeing Far Cry, it's too soon, too close to home for me.
Yeah,
I see parallels of what's happening everywhere else.
With all the riots and stuff that we have in the United States, there's some things that call to that, but at the same time, that's happened a lot in history in other areas too. So, in other countries, so I can see what they're probably why they chose to go ahead and do it, because of what it looks like a Colombia type thing or things like that. But yeah, it is closer to home now because we see a lot of the riots going on here in the United States.
Yeah,
recently.
And Far Cry, kind of with some of their topics, has never been too bullish to kind of push the boundaries on some of those things.
Yes.
Right, into challenge. So not a huge shock that they did that here as well.
Yep. Nintendo says it does make it difficult for third parties to show console support because Sony and Microsoft are in date stalemate.
Yeah, agree with that. Tim, what about yourself? Thoughts?
Like you said, a lot of these, I'm in it because I like to see what all these companies are doing because I'm curious as well. Even though I may not or can't play all of these games, they all look interesting. I would love to have the time to play them all or give them all a try. Or I guess time and money is the thing, right? Being able to buy all of them, try them, and give them their due. But it's more interesting too to see the marketing aspect of things, especially when it's against what we're used to seeing, like we're expecting to see. You're releasing it in October. Where are the systems you're going to release it for? Or you're showing all these epic games, but why aren't you showing anything else for another system like Nintendo Switch that has a large install base? So, and even still, like I mentioned before, if you are going to show more games for a system like Nintendo Switch, why not show a date of your next upcoming Forward at the end of this one? So maybe there'll be a follow-up communication in their Twitter. Who knows? But the gamer side of me, especially primary Nintendo Switch, is disappointed. But although I do have a second console, as I mentioned during the show, I have to pick and choose what I'm going to play. So we'll see what that next game from Ubisoft will be for me, and depends on the timing when I'm done with my next game.
Yeah, I think the other interesting thing is that, like, I think we all walked into this with the expectations was Ubisoft's E3 presentation, right? But that's really not what it is, right? They have definitely, through that communication of we have more Ubisoft Forward events, really, I think, pivoted off of our expectations, right? So I do believe they're moving more to a, hey, we have more to announce or want to sit down with you and do an hour of a dive on the system, we're going to be able to do that. And I think the next time we go into an Ubisoft Forward event, we're going to have our expectations set, right? We all thought this will be like their E3 blowout. And the reality is they're like, nope, we're gonna deep dive 3 games. So when they announce it for August or September or October, we're going to be like, oh, totally understand what's going to happen here. Do you know what I mean? So it's a little bit of retraining your audience to know what to expect, and that's what I think that they're doing here. So I mean, you know, if they did a deep dive of Gods and Monsters, I would have been really happy.
Yes.
If they, you know, so it's probably like I'm just not as happy because none of this stuff directly impacts me. But I do think, like, if you're a fan of Valhalla, I mean, it's coming out soon. Plus, you got additional gameplay footage that looks sick. Legions. That's coming out at the end of October. Like, that looks really good. They did a great job building that. You're hyped for Hyperscape. Like, there's a lot of things that happen here that's really, really good for Ubisoft. I think they did a great job pivoting some of those things. And then again, I think if you're a Far Cry fan, that's interesting. So if we actually think about this, they have announced they've got a game coming out in October, November. They're taking December and January off in February. Right? So those are, and they're relatively big titles for Ubisoft to be landing with. And that's what they really needed to do, especially when you think about the fact that they took like the last 6 months off, kind of took a knee, said that to their investors. They needed to start putting games out there. And what they needed to do is they needed to prioritize probably the games that are going to draw the biggest revenue, right? Of course, Assassin's Creed is going to draw revenue. Watch Dogs, probably a question mark, but you've got that's why you're putting it in October and not November, because November is going to be your holiday sales, right? And then Far Cry has a dedicated enough audience that they're going to get it. So I think they did a great job of positioning those things. Again, Ubisoft's quarter ends, as I recall, with them. They are also aligned like Nintendo. They are a March 30th is their fiscal year, as I recall.
Okay.
So I think there was there's some very business decisions probably made within this space.
And it's also possible. Well, I'll say this: we're all hungry for something new on Nintendo Switch to be announced, right? Especially from these big companies and Nintendo themselves. So that's another disappointment when you're hoping, okay, here comes Ubisoft. Maybe they'll decide, give us something to look forward to, and not yet. So we're still waiting for those big games we're going to see from these big companies for the Nintendo Switch.
Yeah, and I don't necessarily know, and I saw someone in the chat throwing credence of like, oh, well, because we didn't get anything here, we're going to get in the July 20th event. If there is a July 20th event. I doubt that. When is Nintendo's next financial meeting, when is Nintendo's next financial meeting for Nintendo? When is the next financial meeting? It's the end of July. I think, Jesse, you've looked that up before. It's the next time they're posting up their results.
Usually it's a Wednesday or Thursday, I think. So
yeah,
it's
it'll be the end of July where
30th.
they're going to post their times or post their sales, which is why we're expecting. I believe we're going to have some kind of announcement before that event from Nintendo to share that as well.
So potentially the week of the 20th, we might see something, but I'm not holding my breath.
Yeah, and I don't think we're gonna. I also don't think that what we would see there is something from Ubisoft. I think if Ubisoft had cards to reveal, they'd use this platform for it. So.
Unless it is something that they worked on together.
Yeah.
Then I could see something there where Ubisoft would be there with Nintendo possibly, or do a video.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of speculation. Everything's so thrown off lately. It's hard to think what's going to happen. So, but I agree that I think, especially if Switch is your primary console and you follow this kind of stuff, because not everybody follows this, but if you follow this kind of stuff, you want to know what you are going to prepare to buy in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
And we haven't seen that yet.
Yeah, exactly.
Or even the third quarter, right? Other than
or anything beyond July 17th, actually.
Yeah, exactly. So what else are we gonna buy? So
yeah. So
yes,
so it is the Birdman. Yes, it's the end of July.
Yes. That's all I have.
All right, folks. I think that's it. Again, folks who join us over on Twitch and YouTube, thanks so much for jumping in. Hopefully, you guys enjoy this kind of breakdown. We greatly appreciate your support. We appreciate everything you do for us, and hopefully you've enjoyed the content. For myself, for Jesse, and for Tim, and for all the other Nintendo dads, bye-bye.
Bye, peeps. Bye, Sam.